Good morning, students.
Morning.
Okay. So in the last class, we were discussing about the torque acting on a current carrying loop. That is the rectangular loop when it is placed in a uniform magnetic field. It's not complete. So we can complete it first. Okay. Torque acting on a current carrying loop. On a rectangular loop. Torque acting on a rectangular loop. So what are the conditions that we are taken here? First of all, we consider a rectangular loop ABCD placed it between the poles of a strong, powerful magnet. Let I be the current that flowing through this rectangular loop, which produces a magnetic field. Whenever the current I passing through this rectangular loop, it produces a magnetic field. At the same time, it experiences a force. And the force acting on this rectangular loop is given by F is equal to I into L cross B, or we can write F is equal to ILB sine theta. Since here the current carrying conductor is a rectangular loop, the force is acting on each side of the loop. So here we want to find out the expression for force acting on each side of the loop. So the force acting on the side FAB is given by, here the magnetic field is acting from north to south, and the length of this side AB is mutually perpendicular to it. So the angle between them is 90 degree. So we can write FAB is equal to ILB sine 90, and sine 90 is equal to 1. So we can write FAB is equal to ILB. Similarly, the force acting on the side FBC, the force acting on the side FBC is given by, in the case of the side FBC, the magnetic field is pointing from north to south, and also the direction of the length of the side is also along the same direction. So the angle between them is equal to 0, sine 0. Okay, so it becomes FBC is equal to ILB sine 0, that is equal to 0, because sine 0 is equal to 0. Now we want to find out the force acting on the side FCD. The force acting on the side FCD. What about the force acting on the side CD? How we can find out an expression? What about the angle between the magnetic field and that of the length of this rectangular loop, the side of this rectangular loop? What is the angle between them?
90 degree.
Okay. So here FCD is equal to ILB sine 90. We know that sine 90 degree is equal to 1. So FCD is equal to ILB. Now we have one more side, that is FDA. Here also the length of the conductor and that of the magnetic field are along the same direction, or as you say that here DA is anti-parallel to that of the direction of the magnetic field. So the angle between them is 180 degree. Okay. So FDA, that is equal to ILB sine 180. Sine 180 is equal to 0. So we have FDA is equal to 0. Is it clear? Is it clear or not? Up to here we were deriving the last class. We are finding the expression for the force acting on the four sides of a rectangular loop. Is it clear or not?
Yes.
Okay. So here from this expression, we get FAB is equal to ILB, FBC is equal to 0. The force acting on the side BC is equal to 0. And the force acting on the side CD is equal to ILB. And the force acting on the side DA is equal to 0. So from this expression, it is very clear that the torque acting on this rectangular loop, or the force is acting only the two sides of this rectangular loop, that is on AB and the side CD. The force acting on the side BC is equal to 0. Similarly, the force acting on the side AD is also equal to 0. Is it clear? So from this expression, it is clear that the force is acting only in two sides, that is on FBA and FCD, FAB and FCD. Here, the force acting on only two sides of the loop, only two sides of the loop, that is on AB and CD, that is on AB and CD. Here the force is acting on only the two sides of this rectangular loop, that is on AB, the side AB and that of the side CD. Okay. So now we want to find out an expression, or we want to find out the direction of the force that is acting along the side AB and along the side CD. How we can find out the direction of the force that is acting along the side AB and CD?
Right hand thumb.
Yes, by using?
Right hand thumb rule.
Is it right hand thumb rule? Right hand thumb rule is used to find out the direction of the current and magnetic field. Here we want to find out the direction of the force. The direction of force acting on the side AB and CD.
So Fleming's left hand rule.
Very good. Here we want to calculate the direction of the force acting on the side AB and CD by applying the Fleming's left hand rule. So here we want to apply the Fleming's left hand rule in order to find out the direction of the force acting on AB and CD. Okay. So from the derivation, it is very clear that whenever we place a rectangular loop in between the poles of a powerful magnet, the force is acting only on two sides, that is on AB and CD. So here it is clear the force is acting on AB and CD. Now we want to find out the direction of that force by applying the Fleming's left hand rule. Okay. So now suppose you imagine that this is our rectangular loop ABCD. Okay, this is our rectangular loop ABCD. What is the direction of the current that is flowing through the side AB? What is the direction of the current that is flowing through the side AB? Is it in upward direction or downward direction?
Upward.
Upward direction. And we know that we are applying the Fleming's left hand rule. According to Fleming's left hand rule, you stretch the three fingers, that is the thumb, forefinger and middle finger of your left hand, such that the thumb shows the direction of the force, forefinger shows the direction of magnetic field, and middle finger shows the direction of the current. So you just imagine this is our rectangular loop. Okay, this is our rectangular loop with the sides A, B, C, and D. We are going to find out the direction of the force acting on the side AB and that of the CD by applying the Fleming's left hand rule. So for that, we know that here the direction of the current is in upward. What about the direction of the magnetic field? Direction of magnetic field, it is pointing from north to south. Then what about the direction of the force acting on AB? What about the direction of force acting on AB? Is it is inward or downward or outward? Try to apply the Fleming's left-hand rule to your
Inward.
figure AB. Here, what about the direction of the thumb? Is it is pointing? Is it is pointing inward or out of the plane or into the plane? Yes, Punya?
Inward.
It is right. It is inward. Here, this forefinger shows the direction of the magnetic field. So it is pointing from here to here. And this middle finger shows the direction of the current that is flowing in upward direction. Then according to Fleming's left hand rule, it is very clear that the mutually perpendicular finger, that is the force, the thumb shows the direction of the magnetic force. It is pointing inwards. So from this, it is clear that the force acting on the side AB is inward. Here the force acting on the side AB is inward. That is into the plane of the board. Here the current is in upward direction. Magnetic field is pointing in this direction. And then the direction of the force, this is the direction of current, this is the direction of magnetic field, and the direction of the force is inward in the side AB, along the side AB. Similarly, we can find out the direction of the force acting on CD with the help of Fleming's left hand rule. So here, this is our side CD. Again, here also we can apply the Fleming's left hand rule. The forefinger shows the direction of the magnetic field. What about the direction of the current? Upward or downward? It is in upward or downward in along the CD. Here the current, the direction of the current is downward. Then what about the direction of the force?
Outward.
Yes, what about the direction of the force?
Outwards.
It is outwards. Okay. So by applying the Fleming's left hand rule, the force acting on the side CD is outward. It is pointing out of the plane of the board. So from this, it is clear that the portion AB of this rectangular loop moving inward and the portion CD of this rectangular loop moving outward. Is it clear? Here the portion AB of this rectangular loop is moving inward and the portion CD of this rectangular loop is moving outward. And thereby it is start to rotate inside this magnetic field. Here the portion AB of the rectangular loop is moving inward and the portion CD is moving outward and it is started to rotate inside the magnetic field. So by applying the Fleming's left hand rule, we find the direction of the force acting on AB and CD. And we find that the force acting on AB is directed inward and the force acting on the CD is directed outward. So as a result of this force acting on AB and CD in inward and outward respectively, it is started to rotate inside the magnetic field. Okay. And this rotational effect of the rectangular loop, inside the magnetic field is known as torque. This rotational effect of the current carrying rectangular loop. This rotational effect of the current carrying rectangular loop inside the magnetic field is known as torque. In our previous chapter regarding with electrostatic, we are also deriving expression for this torque. Do you remember that? The torque is nothing. It is the rotational effect of the current carrying conductor inside the electric field or magnetic field. Here we are consider the rotational effect of the current carrying conductor inside the magnetic field. So the rotational effect of this current carrying rectangular loop inside this strong magnetic field is known as torque. And here we want to find out an expression for this torque acting on this rectangular loop. Okay. So to derive the expression for, write the next, to derive an equation for torque, to derive an equation for this torque, to derive an equation for this torque, consider a uniform magnetic field. To derive an equation for this torque, consider a uniform magnetic field. To derive the equation for this torque, consider a uniform magnetic field. And this rectangular loop is placed inside this magnetic field just like this. Here the rectangular loop is placed, that is, it is undergoes a rotation. So this view is a side view of the rectangular loop under the rotation. So consider a uniform magnetic field and the rectangular loop is placed inside the magnetic field just like this. And this rectangular loop undergoes the rotation inside the magnetic field. This rectangular loop undergoes a rotation inside the magnetic field at an angle. Yes. Is there any doubt? Okay. Here, the rectangular loop undergoes a rotation. Here, the rectangular loop undergoes a rotation inside the magnetic field. Inside the magnetic field at an angle theta. At an angle theta. So here we are going to derive an expression for torque acting on a current carrying rectangular loop when it is placed in a uniform magnetic field. So this is the side view of the rectangular loop inside the uniform magnetic field. Here this rectangular loop undergoes a rotation inside the magnetic field at an angle theta. Since it is inclined at an angle theta, we can resolve the length of this rectangular loop. We can, S.
Can you say that sentence?
S, Achyut?
No, ma'am, can you say that line again?
Okay. Since it is inclined at an angle theta, since it is inclined at an angle theta, the length component of this rectangular loop, the length component of this rectangular loop the length of this rectangular or length component of this rectangular loop can be resolved into two components. Here we consider a rectangular loop with a length L. It is undergoes a rotation inside the magnetic field at an angle theta. And hence it is inclined at an angle theta. We can resolve it into two components. One horizontal component, that is L cos theta, and one vertical component, that is L sin theta. Here we consider a rectangular loop with all its sides are equal to L. And here this rectangular loop is undergoes a rotation inside the magnetic field at an angle theta. Since it is inclined at an angle theta, this length component of this rectangular loop can be resolved into two components. One is a horizontal component L cos theta and other is a vertical component L sin theta. Is there any doubt? Punya?
No, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So here our rectangular loop is resolved into the length component of the rectangular loop is resolved into two components. One is L cos theta and other is the L sin theta.
Ma'am,
Therefore, yes,
but don't we usually write L sin theta as the horizontal component?
no. The component that is nearer to this angle is must be L cos theta. And this one is the L sin theta. This is what is we were already studied in our +1. If it is a vector quantity, it must be resolved into two components. One is L cos theta and sin theta component. Okay. So here the horizontal component is L cos theta and the vertical component is L sin theta. Okay. Now, what is the equation for calculating the torque? Equation for calculating torque. We already studied in our previous chapter, electrostatic. What is the equation for calculating torque? Any idea?
P cross E.
And what is that term? How we can represent it in terms of words? Any one of the force into perpendicular distance. Okay. The torque acting in a rectangular loop can be calculated by one of the force. Torque is represented by the letter tau, and this torque can be calculated by one of the force into perpendicular distance. One of the force into perpendicular distance. One of the force into perpendicular distance. So here we can calculate the torque acting on this rectangular loop with the help of equation tau is equal to any one of the force into perpendicular distance. Why we are consider the term any one of the force? Because it is a rectangular loop. Here we have two sides. The force is acting on two sides. That is on FAB. What is the force acting on the side FAB? Is equal to ILB. Similarly, the force acting on the side FCD, that is also ILB. So in order to calculate the torque, we can take any one of the force, either this ILB or this ILB. So we are considering any one ILB. So one of the force, that is ILB, the force acting on any one of the side. It can be either AB or on the CD. Any one of the force into perpendicular distance. What is the perpendicular distance here? Any one of the force into the perpendicular component. Here we have two components. One is the horizontal component or the parallel component, and other is the vertical component or the perpendicular component. So here we want to calculate the expression for torque. What is the perpendicular component present here?
L sin theta.
L sin theta. Okay. So the torque is equal to any one of the force into perpendicular distance, that is ILB into L sin theta. Or we can write tau is equal to I into L square sin theta. I into L square B sin theta. I into L square B sin theta. Okay. So the expression for the force is given by tau is equal to the force acting on any one of the side into the perpendicular distance. So the force acting on any one of the side is taken as ILB and the perpendicular distance is L sin theta. Therefore, tau is equal to I into L square B sine theta. Now, what is L square? L square means length into length. That is one side into another side. What is length into length or side into side? Ah, yes, Punya, unmute and say it's right.
Area.
It is equal to area. Okay. So here we consider a rectangle with all its sides is equal to L. Or it can be either square. You can consider it as a square or rectangle. Here we consider a rectangle with all its sides is equal to L. So we know that area is equal to length into breadth. That is equal to L into L. Here all the sides are equal to L. Okay. Therefore, this L square is equal to L into L is nothing. It is the area of the rectangular loop. Okay. So what happens to our equation? Our equation becomes tau is equal to I L square B sine theta. But this L square is equal to L into L. That is the area of the rectangular loop. Therefore, tau is equal to IAB sine theta. IAB sine theta. Okay. And here we consider the rectangular loop that placed in a uniform magnetic field. If a rectangular loop or a current carrying, it is not only in the case of rectangular loop, if any current carrying conductors is placed in a magnetic field, the product of the current and that of the area is equal to magnetic dipole moment. Okay, all of you write the next statement. If any current carrying conductor placed in a uniform magnetic field, if any current carrying conductor placed in a uniform magnetic field if any current carrying conductor placed in a uniform magnetic field, then the product of the current and area, then the product of the current and area then the product of the current and area is the magnetic dipole moment of the conductor. Is the magnetic dipole moment of the conductor. If any current carrying conductor is placed in a uniform magnetic field, then the product of the current and area is the magnetic dipole moment of the conductor. That is, IA is equal to M, small letter M. The small letter M is known as the magnetic dipole moment of the conductor. If any current carrying conductor is placed in a uniform magnetic field, then the product of the current and area represents the magnetic dipole moment of the conductor. That is, IA is equal to M. Then what about our final equation? Instead of this IA, we can represent this M. So the equation becomes tau is equal to IA. What is IA? Magnetic dipole moment. So our equation is this: tau is equal to IAB sine theta, right? Tau is equal to IAB sine theta. And here this IA is the product of current and area of a rectangular loop or a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field. It is equal to magnetic dipole moment M. Therefore, tau is equal to MB sine theta. MB sine theta. Where M is the magnetic dipole moment, B is the magnetic field, tau is the torque, and theta is the angle between the magnetic field and that of the current. Here this current is changed into magnetic dipole moment, Ia into A. Or in vector form, we can write vector tau is equal to, here it is mb sine theta. Mb sine theta means it is a cross product. So vector m cross vector b. So this is the expression for torque acting on a rectangular coil placed in a magnetic field, and this is the vector form of the torque acting on a rectangular coil when it is placed in a magnetic field. Is it clear? Is it clear or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Any,
Yes, ma'am.
is there any doubt in any step? You can ask now itself. Okay. So here we are discussing an expression for torque acting on a rectangular loop. For that, we are consider a rectangular loop ABCD that placed between the poles of two powerful magnet N and S. And here, whenever the current I is passing through a rectangular loop, it produces a magnetic field and it is experiences a force. Since it is since it is a rectangular loop, the force is acting on each side of the rectangular loop. Okay, so we find an expression for the force acting on each side, that is FAB, FBC, FCD, and FDA. And from this expression, it is clear that the force is acting only on two sides, that is on AB and CD. Then with the help of Fleming's left hand rule, we find the direction of the force acting on AB and CD. So we find that the side AB is moving inward and CD is downward. Thereby it starts to rotate inside the magnetic field. And this figure shows the rotational effect of the rectangular loop inside a uniform magnetic field. Since this rectangular loop with the length L is inclined at an angle theta, it is resolved into two components. One is L cos theta and other is L sin theta. Then we find, when we write the equation for calculating the torque acting on this rectangular loop, it is given by tau is equal to any one of the force into the perpendicular distance. So the force acting on one side is taken as ILB, and here the perpendicular distance is L sin theta. Therefore, torque is equal to I into L square B sin theta. And here this L square is representing the side into side or length into breadth, that is the area of the rectangular loop. Therefore, the equation becomes tau is equal to IAB sin theta. And if we place any current carrying conductor in a uniform magnetic field, the product of the current and that of the area is known as the magnetic dipole moment M. Magnetic dipole moment M. So our equation becomes tau is equal to mb sin theta, and in vector form vector tau is equal to vector m cross vector b. Any doubt? Is it clear? Okay. So now we can move to the next topic. Is there any doubt? Can we move to the next topic? Okay. So all of you write the next heading. Torque acting on a circular current loop. Torque acting on a circular current loop. Sorry, it is not torque. This is a heading. Circular current loop as a magnetic dipole. Sorry. Circular current loop as a magnetic dipole. 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 So here, in order to find the circular current loop as a magnetic dipole, consider a circular loop. Consider a circular loop with radius r. Consider a circular loop with radius r. Now the current I is passing through this circular loop. Now the current I is passing through this circular loop. Now the current I is passing through circular loop and it produces a magnetic field. And it produces a magnetic field. So here we consider a circular loop with radius r, and here I is the current that is flowing through the circular loop. It produces a magnetic field. Let P be a point. Let P be a point inside the magnetic field. Let P be a point inside this magnetic field. Let P be a point inside this magnetic field. And it is at a distance of, x from the center of the loop. It is at a distance of x from the center of the loop. So did you remember we are deriving an expression for the magnetic field produced in a current carrying circular loop as an application of Biot-Savart's law, right? So here we consider a circular loop with radius r, and let I be the current is passing through the circular loop. It produces a magnetic field. Then we consider a point P inside this magnetic field at a distance of x from the center of the loop. Now, by Biot-Savart's law, the magnetic field produced at this point is given by Biot-Savart's law. The magnetic field produced at this point P is given by, here we consider a small segment. Here also we are considering a small segment. This figure is exactly the same that of the current carrying circular loop. The magnetic field due to a current carrying circular loop. And we find out an expression for the magnetic field produced at this point P. So by the Biot-Savart's law, the magnetic field produced at the point P is given by, what is the equation? Revise the equation for the magnetic field produced at the point P. By Biot-Savart's law, the magnetic field produced at the point P is given by, anyone remember?
dB is equal to
dB is the magnetic field of a small segment. And after integrating that expression, we find the total magnetic field. The total magnetic field produced at the point P due to that entire circular loop. What is that equation? B is equal to
mu 0 IR square divided by 2 into x square plus r square whole raised to 3 by 2.
Very good. So by Biot-Savart's law, the magnetic field produced at the point P by the entire circular loop is given by mu 0 is equal to I into r square divided by 2 into x square plus r square, the whole raised to 3 by 2. Okay. This expression that we are already derived while discussing about the application of Biot-Savart's law in order to calculate the magnetic field produced at the point P due to the entire circular loop. Okay. So B is equal to mu 0 I r square divided by 2 into x square plus r square, the whole raised to 3 by 2. Now multiply the numerator and denominator by pi. Multiply the numerator and the denominator of this equation 1 by pi. Multiply the numerator and the denominator of this equation of equation 1 by pi. Then what about our equation becomes B is equal to mu 0 I r square divided by 2 into x square plus r square, the whole raised to 3 by 2 into pi divided by pi. In effect, it will be cancelled. That is why here we are multiplying with the pi in the numerator and the denominator. Or we can rearrange this equation. Then we get B is equal to, rearrange this equation. Rearranging this, we get B is equal to mu 0 I r square, mu 0 I pi r square, mu 0 I pi r square divided by 2 pi into x square plus r square, the whole raised to 3 by 2. What is this pi r square represents? Pi r square. What is pi r square? Ah, yes. All of you know the answer. You just unmute and say. No problem. Yes, Gauri. Unmute and say. Area. Here the pi r square is represents the area of the circular loop A. Okay. Here the pi r square is represents the area of the circular loop A. Therefore, B is equal to mu 0 I into, instead of this pi r square, we can write area. A divided by 2 pi into x square plus r square, the whole raised to 3 by 2. I think it's the time. We can finish it now. Okay. We can discuss the same in our next class.